From academy roots to international pride, it's a marquee matchup here at the Generation Adidas Cup as Brazil's Palmeiras face off against Houston Dynamo in U18 action. Palmeiras, one of South America's premier talent factories, brings a squad loaded with technical flair, while Houston Dynamo has continued their ascent. It's Brazil versus Texas here at the Generation Adidas Cup. Great to be alongside former Houston Dynamo striker Kalen Carr, who scored a goal for the Dynamo in the 2012 MLS Cup Finals. So when you see the Academy team here today and you think about, you reflect with your time with Dynamo, what comes to mind? What would you tell these young kids here today?
Yeah, a little bit of a homecoming for me of sorts, and a familiar face actually as the manager. Boniek Garcia, the Honduran International World Cup veteran, played together in MLS Cup, and as you mentioned, he was my locker mate right next to me in the locker room every day, so we'll have to catch up after this. But when I think about it, at the time, when I was their age, I actually had to go to Brazil on my own to get that experience. And the academy started when we were in Houston. Now it's really taken roots. Boniek, a former player, an absolute legend managing this team. So it's really emblematic of the way that GA Cup represents the progress of MLS.
There's been reunions all week for you, but this match maybe hits a little bit closer to home. Let's take a look at the standings right now and how they stand here in this division. And admittedly, the tournament hasn't gone completely according to plan for either Palmeiras or Houston Dynamo, with Toronto and Portland sitting atop the standings. So no chance to advance for either of them, but still plenty to play for today. The pride showing off for the scouts and family members watching. They want to be at their best. Let's take a look at this Houston starting 11. And Zita up front, he's the third youngest player to make a debut in MLS Next Pro.
Yeah, the front three will be strong with him, Cote, and Cottle up there, trying to bring some ingenuity to that attack. And then I think it'll be a 4-3-3 with Romani, Arana, and Hinojosa in the middle. But yes, that final match of the group stage does provide a blank slate and a little bit of new opportunity.
Starting 11 on the other side for Palmeiras out of São Paulo.
Yeah, we mirrored their formation, I believe, in a 4-3-3 with Mateus, Lira, and Goto in the middle. Dourado up top will be their danger man, the number 9 position, needing to find him up top in dangerous positions.
Final broadcast here of the day on our MLS YouTube channel. Glad to have you with us. AJ Ricketts, Kalen Carr. Let's play soccer here in Bradenton at the IMG Academy. Having so much fun here at the Generation Adidas Cup. Future stars of many different leagues taking to the pitch here. Field 1, right on the entrance here of this IMG campus. Palmeiras and Houston going to try to enter their next bracket with some momentum to their name. Just finished up a intriguing matchup with FC Cincinnati and CF Monterrey. Monterrey taking that match 1-0 with a late free kick goal.
Yeah, but it was a good reminder as well to say they hadn't scored a goal all tournament, hadn't gotten a result, no points as of yet, and Cincinnati had 4 coming into it, and so flipped the script, were able to stick in it the first half. The second half, they take advantage of a mistake, a good strike from distance, so just goes to show sometimes it takes a little while for some teams to find their footing in the tournament. I expect the level of play to continue to rise as we continue to advance to these last stages of the knockout phase and then into the next round.
Dynamo in the sharp purple kits today. They loft it to the 18. That's knocked away for the moment. Houston coming off a 3-1 defeat to Toronto. 3-0 prior to that against Portland. So they've been outscored 6-1 over the course of this Generation Adidas Cup. Meanwhile, Palmeiras, they fell 2-1 to Toronto in their opener, and then in penalties to Portland. Missed on 2 of their 5 kicks from the spot. Roman Karamov in goal today for the Dynamo. Luis Sa on the other side for Palmeiras. This U18 matchup.
And within the first 2 minutes, we have our first Meg from the Brazilian side. Something Da Silva just pulling it out. Picks up the foul, but nice little clever skill moment.
There's Antonio Marcos looping it in, and the first opportunity for Karamov from the wide area. Roman Karamov, 6'3" keeper, born in Moscow in 2008, has risen through the ranks since joining the academy in 2023. How busy might he be over the course of this afternoon? Both of these sides trying to get the offensive flow in gear. Inahosa going wide. Adam Abdu playing forward from that right back spot. Right around the flag. Difficult to generate any pace for a cross. Goes out of play.
Nice interchanging of positions there. Inahosa starting as an 8, but coming around the outside. Abdu right back, pushing forward. A clever little back heel to release him in space.
Faraji Rahmani, 17-year-old midfielder in this academy. Recently made his Dynamo Dos debut. And Gemma is trying to receive it right back from Nzita. Now in a good area here for Houston. They fire it. It's blocked. Second ball well too high. Probing moments here from Houston in the first 4 minutes.
Yeah, it all starts from the center back. And Gemma does so well there to step forward to push into an advanced spot. So important to be able to have that flexibility in the modern game for center backs to facilitate. Starts on one side, goes the other. The first strike comes off from Abdu, and then the drops down to Kone. Is not able to get on top of it, but excellent play from the center back position. Ngema to push forward.
Antonio Marcos trying to play it central. Battle forward in the corner. This is a front line from Palmeiras with plenty of physicality to him. There will be a throw here for Houston. Looks like a change in the lineup than what was originally listed here for Palmeiras. Gondo up front. Searching for space here. This is lifted just outside the 6. Unable to get a clean touch to it in the end. Karamov easily scooping it.
Good switch.
Very well done. Here's Marcos. A good step through to evade the defender. Dispatched him. Marcos lining one up perhaps with the right, flat-footed. Lost his balance in the end. You see the skill and technical ability, though, in these opening moments.
Yeah, but it comes from the change of the point of attack. Really good ball from the center back to switch the point. And you see Marcos getting isolated, tucking in. Good patience to cut back a few times, and ultimately doesn't result in much, but it's the way you want to stretch Houston out and take advantage of that space on the far side.
You know, I'd wonder your perspective. Do you think it's difficult at all to get in the right mindset you need to be in a match like this where it is two teams at the bottom of the table, or is that really not a factor at all with how you're trying to impress scouts, coaches, and work your way up the system regardless of where you are in a tournament table?
I think it's tough from the mental side of, as far as the confidence, where you haven't been able to collectively get that. What a great run.
Joao Gabriel here feeding it to the middle. Shot ripped, headed to the near side and then tapped in, but the flag was up in the end. Palmeiras showing positive signs, though, in the opening stages.
Yeah, what a great run here from Saboya coming down this right-hand side, and he just beats him for pace here. Just sets him up. It's a dynamic change of pace and cuts it back. It's clearly offside in the end there, but excellent run there from Saboya coming down that right-hand side. But AJ, getting back to your last point, I really don't think that will be a big issue here, partly because of the occasion. And yes, it hasn't quite been there as far as the confidence standpoint collectively, but play against a massive club, the name of Palmeiras, to test yourself against some of the best young talent in Brazil and give a good accounting of yourself from a Houston perspective will be big. And to be playing here in the United States, I've seen a lot of Brazilian players MLS, breaking through, big stars like Evander, making their imprint, now playing for FC Cincinnati, but was at Portland last year, and it goes the other way as well. Mikael, Dynamo center back, went back to Brazil, to Palmeiras for a big fee, and so want to be a part of that global market. A lot of scouts here, and big opportunity.
More on that in a moment here after the free kick. Bit of a discussion before this is sent towards goal. De Silva took a step, driven, and a nice diving save there by Karamov. Not positive that would have fizzled wide of the post. He was going to be sure of it.
Yeah, it's a clever idea there to step just to create a little bit of the idea that he might take it, and then Lira, the number 10, just trying to be clever to just curl that in the near post, but good positioning there from Karamov in net.
I think of success stories out of the Palmeiras Academy in recent time. I mean, Endrick has to be the crown jewel of this academy in recent years. He debuted at 16, became the youngest scorer in club history, and he's set to join Real Madrid this summer. Don't forget about Danilo, Gabriel Jesus, as referenced. They are not few and far between in terms of success stories coming out of Sao Paulo.
Massive club, and can continue to build through that pipeline all the way up to the first team, and then on some of the big stages abroad in Europe and Champions League.
Houston looking for positive moments here, finding difficulty unlocking Palmeiras back four at this current juncture. The Allianz Parque, home to Palmeiras, dream destination for every academy player, just west of Sao Paulo's buzzing downtown, where every player in green and white wants to end up. When you grow up in that city, when you're part of this academy, you're immersed in it. You really are, every single day. See fans in the jerseys at the cafes. You've got alley arts along the walls of famous players, right? The Barafunda neighborhood, where their training grounds are at, it just pulses with football culture. They're immersed in it from the start. These look like future professionals on the pitch right now for this Brazilian side. Back four of Houston: Zach White, David Ngema, Omar Bolaños, Adam Abdu. Now Hinojosa looking to receive, blocked off well.
Good idea, Adam. It's a good idea.
5 combined shots between the two clubs here in the first 10+ minutes.
Okay, Zach. Can't jump yet, Zach. Not yet. Yeah, yes, Rush.
You talked about in the open how you had to travel to Brazil to get this kind of international competition in your youth days. This is a great ball threaded through. Flag is up though, mistimed run. Go on, Lira. Nearly was broken through. Instead, it'll be a free kick the other way. Another look at it here.
Yeah, they built out through that pressure really well, and just tell the timing just a step off there from Lira, but the right idea. And Houston a little bit stretched, pressing numbers forward, but didn't have the players behind them on the same page to create that density within the middle of the pitch, and Palmeiras happy to take advantage.
Whether it was in those moments where you played in Brazil or through the years, what stands out when you think of Brazilian footballing identity?
Well, just football and Brazil to me are synonymous, and that was a big part of me falling in love with the game, was watching the Brazilian national team play, and always the standard, the creativity, the joy, the personality, the flair. That was what drew me to the game.
Kone going to his right, will launch one, takes a deflection. And preventing it from going out of play was Luis Sa diving. Good chance there for Houston.
Yeah, but to continue that, that's what was the starting point for me, but I only dreamed of playing against Brazilian players or getting access to being a part of that culture, or being sort of adjacent even, at least. And I played in some futsal leagues in my local neighborhood, but at a certain point as I was getting older, I really wanted to test myself, and Brazil was the first place that came to mind, so I convinced my mom to try to help me find a way there. She had a friend that was Brazilian, and I was able to stay with his cousin, just a little apartment in Rio de Janeiro. And
imagine it might have taken some convincing.
My mom was pretty open-minded.
Okay.
I give her a lot of credit for allowing me to go there by myself for 3 weeks, and I was 16 years old. Turns out the cousin left me there for long stretches, so I was basically living by myself, commuting on my own. I speak no Portuguese, and I was training at the Zico Football Academy, which is, Zico is one of the most famous players, World Cup champion, started this youth academy, and I was a fish out of water from day one, but it was there for 3 weeks, and I felt like I progressed maybe 3 months in that time. And humbling experience for sure, a really fun one, but you could see just the level of skill. Even you look at the size of some of these players, but the technical ability, the combination of that was something that I hadn't seen as of yet, at least for me. And so to get exposed from that, from the MLS perspective early, is tremendous.
Looking for success here from the far side. It's whipped to the corner of the box. Still in play now. Threaded central, looking to lay it off, and the shot is just too high. Again, encouraging moment for Palmeiras. Ultimately, it ends in nothing.
Yeah, but Palmeiras have done a fantastic job of picking and probing, utilizing those wide areas. They continue to break down the flank, and this is a matchup that they've liked so far in this first half. Just getting down the flank, and on the other side, just those one-on-one duels that keep winning them. A little layoff here, just gets underneath it in the end, but stretching Houston side to side and coming closer to take advantage.
How much Portuguese did you learn in those 3 weeks?
And not much. The funny part is, everybody thought I was Brazilian because everybody looks Brazilian in a lot of ways, and I was wearing a Brazilian soccer jersey,
right.
The yellow Canarinho color shirt.
Kind of assimilated then, yeah?
Well, that was the problem, because people didn't take it easy on me. They just thought maybe I was not conversant, or they were confused. So I'd go sit in restaurants and wait for someone to come order, and it turns out I had to go to the counter. There were just countless experiences like that, which for me was a part of the development process, I think, of how much do you love this? You want to train here, but this isn't easy. And on top of that, just the cultural differences, being in the dressing room. But it was good for me to get out of my environment. And more than anything, I realized from that point, the world is much bigger than my neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And that goes for this tournament as well. If you're a Houston player, and yes, you've competed well in Houston, maybe in Texas, you start to sniff what it's like to be a professional, or what that could be like, and then you play against a Brazilian team. So far in these first 15 minutes, they've been underneath it.
And Zita looking to get to his left. He's dispossessed. Well done defensively by Palmeiras, and it's out for a play. Yeah, there was no scene in Brazil in 2005 where Kalen Carr was on his iPhone learning Portuguese on Duolingo. That was not an option for you.
No, it was not. I had taken Spanish, but I found it obviously very different. That was not very useful for me. It's making me remember, too, speaking of Boniek Garcia, one of the staff here for Houston from Honduras, he was on the right of me in the locker room in my time with the Dynamo. On the left was Luis Camargo, Brazilian player, and so every day we were speaking Spanish, Portuguese, English, some sort of combination of it. But that was a part of the experience of being an MLS player. And so I think in some ways the fact that I had experienced at least a taste of that when I was younger, I wouldn't say anybody was impressed with my Portuguese, but that was part of what I enjoyed most of playing in MLS, was the international quality and sharing those moments together.
Yeah, the places this sport will take you, no doubt about it, even from a young age. Before you made your way to Berkeley, Houston's actually outshot Palmeiras here in this first half. 7 combined shots between the two clubs. But it's felt like the Brazilian side does have a good hold of this match regardless.
Yeah, there's one good moment down that right-hand side from Abdu, and was able to cut it back across, and good little opportunity. It dropped to Kone, but just not quite able to get on top of it, but they're looking for more of that.
Good cross to the near side. Joao Gabriel lays it off. Romildo is looking to create things in the midfield. And Zita went over his head. Going to play it to a central avenue. That's another good step through from the right back spot. Flag was up. So they look to feed it to Saboya.
It's actually a foul. Looks like Saboya was held back just at the end there from White. Good little touch inside to create that space, and then had runners coming off him, and Saboya has been a threat down this right flank.
So Lira standing on the ball. De Silva having a brief chat about how to approach this here. 18 minutes into the match. De Silva, number 6, arrived at Palmeiras in 2023. 10 games, 3 goals with the U17s last season. Here's Lira. He'll dummy it. Now De Silva plays it into the box. Got to that back post. Nobody able to really hit something clean there. Houston looking for a run out.
Interesting, we saw in the last one, it was the exact opposite, with one player stepping, the other one taking it. This time we saw the reverse. Lira swinging that one in, and so far early in this one, trying to keep Houston guessing.
What's your assessment of these first 20 minutes here?
I think it's been good. Palmeiras look a little more comfortable to me in the build-out. Houston quite haven't gotten their shape defensively right to be able to trouble them, to win the ball in more advanced positions. You always know these Brazilian teams are going to be comfortable playing out of the back. You can see here just cutting across and then finding these spaces. But so far, in the end, though, Houston have been able to keep, once they break that line, keep them from getting in behind too much.
This is a spot of the field Palmeiras has been operating quite often here in the first half. That one trickles to Marcos. Had plenty of time to retrieve it. Gets it right back. Now Marcos flexes it wide. Clips to Houston's back four, easily dealt with. And now Nzita has aspirations as it's headed back. Nzita's still sprinting. He won't get to it first. Luis Sa has a foot to it. Marcos was screaming for it. He wanted it quickly at midfield. Instead, it'll be threaded to Pedro. And out of play. Houston, they talk about the first team in its 20th MLS season, looking to rebound from consecutive playoff exits. Of course, key departures in Hector Herrera, Carlos Carrasquilla. So Jack McGlynn, Nicolas Lodero make their way to the Dynamo roster. They have struggled early, sitting 13th in the West, 1-2-4 this season. Offense has been an issue, just 5 goals. They've conceded 11. Coach Ben Olsen going to try to get things turned around here soon. Leverage that new midfield that they've got, generate some consistency, get back to their typical playoff aspirations. Did have a notable 1-0 win at home over LAFC earlier in the year.
Yeah, but it's been on the upward trajectory for Houston these past few years after going through a tough patch. And I feel like a part of that has been really in the player identification, the profile of players, and the challenging part in MLS is once you find success, how do you maintain that? Especially when you have players like Coco Carrasquilla, now gone to Pumas in Mexico. You can see the scrap here continuing.
Physicality.
Yeah, this is day 3.
They were watching that UFC fight the other day that we were watching.
Day 1 of the tournament. Teams sort of feeling their way into it, and teams now more rounded into form in that competitive part coming out the end of the group stage.
Marcos went central after the underlapping run. Now Lira to the middle. Good passing here, interchange, and it's wide of the left post.
Yeah, but this right side for Palmeiras has been really productive in this first half, and they continue to stretch out Houston. Once it comes across, the first one doesn't come off quite, but that extra passing is really nice there, unselfish to just drag Houston across, and not quite sure where that shot is going to come from in the end, and ultimately takes an important deflection for Houston, but well worked from Palmeiras.
First corner kick for Palmeiras today. Zipped into a threatening corridor here, onto the hands of Karamov, though. Another save. Karamov, Dynamo Dos experience to his name. Clever little turn there as the ball approached on the far side. Eventually a foul, though.
Kirimov had to be quick there. Almost ran up on the edge of those 8 seconds. That's a new rule that's been implemented this season full time here at GA Cup across both age groups. The goalkeeper has 8 seconds to release the ball. They gave him a countdown starting at 5, and looked like it got down to 1 there.
Saw that call twice the first day. I haven't seen any of that since.
Yeah, it results in a corner kick as well, so a change of possession, which is new for me. I had not seen that as of yet.
It's a nicely threaded pass to the far side. 4 in the box now for Palmeiras. Surgical pass, initial touch, second ball is saved, still not out of the area. Follow up on its way and wide. Like Palmeiras is peppering the goal. They cannot find the breakthrough yet.
What a save here this is from Kirimov. It's an excellent ball in swinger, and you're just expecting that to hit the back of the net, but Kirimov comes across it the first time and then reacts again with the second. What a big time save there. The double save from Kirimov to keep that out of the back of the net. How about that ball too, out of distribution?
High level goalkeeping off a brilliant build-up from Palmeiras. Really an impressive first half from this Brazilian side. They've been worthy of putting one in the net thus far. Kirimov has done his due diligence in goal.
Yeah, it's bend but don't break at this point for Houston, and I just wonder if they're a little too open right now.
And looking to do it once again. This is deja vu right now. Another corner coming up. I mean, how did Kirimov keep this out of the goal?
It's about the footwork to move across the frame, and you just have to sort of hope that you get lucky, but does the right work to come across it. That one didn't miss by much either, but the double save to make the first one be alert for the second. Excellent goalkeeping. Starts with the footwork.
Couple corners now from Palmeiras. Houston on their back foot. Looping ball headed initially by Houston. It'll trickle towards the corner. Recycled right back into an inviting spot. Still not completely dealt with. Now chucked towards midfield. That'll be a foul on Palmeiras. A brief respite for Houston here at the moment. We would love a breather.
Seemed like the ball from wide was a good one, and Saboya maybe had a little more time to bring that down. Caught in between two minds. And here it looks like Tristan Cottle on the far side got the worst of it with the defender coming over his back.
Well, you know where Tristan Cottle is on the pitch at all times. Got that flow. Next pro will be represented tomorrow, of course. All of us looking forward to Inter Miami 2 and Orlando City B. It doesn't matter the level that these two teams play, especially on the next pro side. You love a good derby. This rivalry has now had a number of years to develop. Going to have a good crowd, good atmosphere on hand here at IMG Academy for that one. Benjamin Kremoski was a part of the action in that matchup not too long ago, now starring alongside Lionel Messi. Good takeaway there by Houston. Looking for the through ball. It was a little high. That was further out in front of Kone. Things may have been on. That was one of the first things I thought of when the announcement did come that Messi was coming to MLS. Like, what do you think these academy players are thinking? Like, if I can work my way up, I'm gonna have an opportunity to be around the GOAT.
Yeah, I do the rookie symposium every January for players that were either drafted and also homegrown players, and a few of them, the academy kids would have known, of course, coming from the Inter Miami system, but imagine just going to college one day and the next year drafted and you're going to training the first day and you say, oh, is that Lionel Messi, the GOAT? Is that Suarez, Busquets, Jordi Alba, you name it.
Yeah,
so
half of Barcelona's roster, of course.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be quite the stories to tell your friends.
Foul here on Houston. And a concerning free kick upcoming here for the Dynamo.
And we've seen Palmeiras in these situations a few times try to bring in a little bit of a disguise here to throw off Karamov. One steps, you see three now standing on top of it, so wouldn't be surprised if they maybe roll it or try to change the trajectory a little bit.
Ripped with the left foot, just wide of that left post. And three around the ball, looking to generate some confusion. And again, the frustration slowly mounts here for Palmeiras, unable to earn that first goal just yet.
Yeah, they've continued to get into good spots, but haven't been able to put these set piece opportunities on frame.
Saboya. Surrounded by defenders. Seems comfortable with that situation regardless. We'll play it back. Houston have had to try to work things on the counter here in the first half as it's progressed. They do earn a throw.
Good defending from Ticcinelli from Palmeiras to go stride for stride there with Kone, looking to test him in space, in behind, in transition. Good speed to close him down in the end.
Good turn. He was briefly held, now takes some contact, and they will whistle the foul a little further back. Houston will try to apply some pressure on Palmeiras here for a change here. Haven't seen much from him since a couple of shots in the first 10 minutes. We do have a yellow card issued, our first of the match. I think that was given to De Silva. No, that was not De Silva, beg your pardon. Romildo instead. Here's the free kick for Houston. Never dangerous. Only 1 minute stoppage time here. We're in the final stages of the first half. We won't reach 35-minute halves until the championship round. So we'll stay with Houston. What stood out from the first half for you?
I think Palmeiras have been in control throughout the majority of the first half, and Houston have had a few opportunities, but it's really been Palmeiras that have been able to use the wide areas, getting the isolated one-on-one opportunities, and dangerous service in the box. If it wasn't for a few big-time saves from Karamov, maybe behind here.
Whistle may blow at any second, and there it is. Well, it's the first 30 minutes controlled by Palmeiras. They outshoot Houston 8-4 in that first half, but Karamov doing his job in goal. An impressive first half from the Houston goalkeeper, and it's kept things at 0-0 through 30 minutes. Much more to come here on the MLS YouTube channel. From Bradenton, the Generation Adidas Cup Day 3 rolls on. Palmeiras and Houston, no score through 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know I'm fully attractive. I'm hanging on like a fridge to a magnet. The jigsaw with all the right pieces. You and me, we go good together. You and I go good together. You and I
Dolce? On. Stars on.
Kevin Sullivan, the history maker.
30,000 friends? On. Rivalries on.
Versus New York City.
MLS. This is our soccer. Game on.
With the temperature rising in Florida, the matchup was sweltering between Bayern Munich and St. Louis. Michael Watring, Katie Goodman, and our team wrapping things up in this one. And we could hardly catch our breath before we had the opening goal. Niles and Hennessy combining to strike first for St. Louis.
Niles, a game changer of a center midfielder. Jack Hennessy there to pick up the scraps and put it away. Incredible goal. And then, again, just great job all the way around. Starting off with that kind of fire is really what set them up for success in this game.
After that, it was Niles at the end of the first half drawing the penalty. He was a dynamic player in the first half and an easy finish.
Easy finish, as you said, absolute confidence. You can see it play out in run of game and in all these set pieces.
2-0 at halftime, and Bayern Munich was on the field early. Their coach, John Unal, told us that the players are put in situations where they have to find the solutions, and find the solutions they did, getting the equalizer here from Fontova.
They found the passing lanes that they needed, able to run in on it, and again, pick off here. It was the goal that changed the game. The momentum shifted shortly after that. You see this beautiful development happen here. They get up into the corner. It's the cross in, and it's probably the goal of the game from Oriokasen, able to finish with power. That stature, that presence, that physicality, hard to stop.
That came with 10 minutes to go, so we went into penalties, and in round 4, it was a save from Polder Stuba against Giffen, and then Danny Oko took quite the divot as he misses this over the bar. So round 4 equals, and then the final round, Hagen Burrows composed.
The goal that gets them ahead, it's this energy surging through their veins, and then the goal denied by man of the match, Maverick Scott. Incredible stuff from him all game, and especially in this PK shootout.
St. Louis City holds off Bayern Munich 7-6 in penalties in the U16 group stage.
Great to have you with us for the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup. Halftime here in Bradenton between Palmeiras and Houston Dynamo. No score after an entertaining first 30 minutes of action. Well, MLS Technical Director Alfonso Mondello joins us. AJ Ricketts, Kaylin Carr, great to have you with us here at IMG Academy. And boy, the growth of this event continues to be so entertaining to watch. You helped start this more than 2 decades ago. How meaningful is it for you to see what it's become here?
Well, it's like everything else in MLS. It's unbelievable to see the growth and to see where we were and where we are and where we're heading. So great. I think this has become a real major international event. When we first started it, we were looking for a way to help develop the up-and-coming talent. First of all, we started with regional events where we would just compete amongst the MLS clubs. And little by little, we said, hey, where is the next step here? So where are we standing within the soccer world? So this was why, along with Adidas, we were able to create this event, and it really has been a true success story.
Alfonso, I was reflecting on my time in MLS and not really getting exposed to the international game or different styles until, honestly, CONCACAF Champions Cup, where Boniek Garcia on staff here and I would play in Honduras, or we play in Panama or Mexico. And here, now we're seeing this at the U18 level, U16 level, where players are playing against Palmeiras, they're playing against Necaxa, they're playing against teams from the Premier League. Why do you think that's such an important piece of youth development and developing this player development pathway to expose them to different types of football?
Yeah, I think when you play only amongst yourself, there's only a certain level you can achieve. And when we designed what we were going to be bringing in as international competition, we wanted to bring different flavors. So we're trying to bring some Central American teams, some South American teams, some European teams that would provide different styles and that would provide different challenges for the players and hopefully help them to raise their level. And I think this has happened because in the early years we were just happy if we could get a goal against those teams, and now we're competing with them, we're beating them. So I think it's a good sign and a good show of the progress that our clubs have made.
We're all so very looking forward to next year in that World Cup here and what it will mean for soccer in the state and in the region and for the league as well. How is MLS poised to benefit off the momentum from what the World Cup will bring to the continent next year?
So when you look at the start of MLS, came out of a World Cup in 1994, and we didn't have a soccer stadium in this country. Okay, so that's a good way of putting things into perspective. So the investment has been made by our ownership groups, both on fields and on facilities, has led us to this point. I think now 96 will be the biggest World Cup in the number of teams participating. It'll get an attention like never before, and I think it will also create a pathway for the future of soccer in this country, where the world is going to come here. They're going to see the quality of what we have in MLS, and I think it's only going to continue to get better.
Alfonso, I wanted to ask you, we speak about the player development pathway and all the young talent that's here, but also from the manager's side of things and developing managers across our league. Boniek Garcia came to MLS, stayed here, is now a manager. These players are getting exposed to top-end managers and managers that want to develop themselves. How important is that as well, as far as youth development, is to be developing managers?
I think it's hugely important to all aspects of the game, not only the player development, but also the development of coaches, the development of referees. So I think the fact that we have now MLS Next Pro is providing that next step for these young players who are coming out of the academy to have the last step of polishing their abilities, polishing their skills, and getting ready for professionalism. So all of these things, I think, have been steps in the pathway of what the future of soccer in America will be.
Well, I know you take a lot of pride in what this event has become. Hope you're enjoying the week. Appreciate you taking some time.
Thank you guys very much.
All
Pleasure.
right, Alfonso joining us.
Enjoy
in the broadcast booth in Bradenton. Right back for second half action after this.
You ready? MLS is game on. Dochi? On. Stars on.
Sullivan, the history maker.
30,000 friends on. Rivalries on.
Versus New York City.
MLS, this is our soccer. Game on.
Second half action, moments away. Palmeiras and Houston Dynamo. AJ Ricketts, Kalen Carr. No score through 30 minutes. Palmeiras had plenty of chances, 8 shots in that first half. You feel they're due, but Houston has been treading water. Maybe they'll get things going offensively here in this second half. Both teams searching for their first victory of their GA Cup run. Went ahead into their next bracket, though it may not be the championship bracket. Want to head into it with some momentum. Just get a win, regardless of where group play things stand. Always much more fun traveling, whether from Houston to Florida or Brazil. Want to pick up 3 points, pick up a win, feel good about yourself on that bus ride back to the hotel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a component we could see both managers at halftime bringing players in, bringing out the board to try to change the tactics a little bit. Houston, for me, defensively, a little bit stretched with that front three in the midfield. You can see now even just trying to bring players up to accompany them. It's better there to not be disjointed. We want to make sure that setting that line of confrontation, that you're bringing the players behind you with them.
Omar Flores, the first Houston substitute. He enters for Zach White at the left back spot. Promising 17-year-old in this academy. Well, Marcos got by his initial defender, then lost his footing, zips it to the 18. Things are still on here, and there is the breakthrough for Palmeiras. They've been knocking on the door, and it's a well-deserved first goal. Kawan Santos, 1-0 Palmeiras.
Yeah, and it comes from the wide areas again, and it's an individual duel here. Palmeiras is able to use their pace. It seemed like the moment had maybe left, but he was able to pick his head up to the back post, and Santos strikes it so well across the frame here. Karamov has done fantastic in this first half. It's going to take something special to beat him, and Santos happy to provide it to give Palmeiras a deserved 1-0 lead based on the way this match has gone for them.
And the poise of Antonio Marcos, despite kind of losing his balance on that run, just zipped it right across in the threatening spots. And Juan Lira had plenty of time. Lira, one of the newest faces in the Palmeiras youth setup. He's on loan. Rasumi, after a breakout showing at the Cofinha, 5 goals and 2 assists. That turned plenty of heads. Dynamic attacking midfielder, plenty of creativity. And he's someone to keep an eye on. And Palmeiras figures out if he's worth a permanent move moving forward. I'd say he's making a case for it. Clinical finishing there. Houston now, maybe more of a sense of urgency. This is flicked far post and a bit wide of the target. So Juan Lira, 32nd minute goal. Palmeiras, good spirits right here. How does this change the attack, the philosophy, the pace of play for Houston? No problem for Luis Sa there. Composed play out of the back, easily advanced to midfield. Bit of a hiccup outside the circle. Possession quickly regained by Antonio Marcos. Palmeiras had so many numbers forward. Houston caught out of position in that moment of transition.
Love it, Adam. Love it, Adam. Face the ball.
And from a tactical perspective, Marcos should have not had that much time to recover.
Palmeiras did a good job.
Yeah, open guys central.
Yeah, they did a good job of using that wide area because it forces Houston to then have to shift and bring those big center backs out into the wide areas. That's generally a good recipe for success, especially going against someone of Marcos's quality, a winger who likes to use his pace. But I always felt like the advantage for center backs in the middle of the field was big for me, not wanting to have to play with my back to net. Often just drifting into the wide areas, you can get isolated, use your quickness as an advantage. That allows a little more time and space. You can see the speed, and then opened up the space on the far side.
De Silva easily dispatching the midfielders. A surgical ball placed. The flag is up. The making it look easy. Houston is going long to Cottle. Well read. Cottle does get a touch to it. There's a throw. How might Houston find more positive things offensively here? It's kind of like a game we had yesterday. The best defense right now is the continued possession that Palmeiras has.
Yeah, Palmeiras have been very good with the ball, playing out of the back. You can see just the way they rotate, bring numbers, and Houston have tried to step higher, but just hasn't always been connected. And get another quick look at this last offside here. Really good run through the middle, tucking into that interior space, and you can see there just it's a good line from Houston to keep it a little bit higher, and timing a bit off there from Palmeiras.
Good call by the official there. Looks like they had it right. Houston have a throw.
Yeah, but that's good feet there from Romani, and some good composure as well, and something Houston have needed to try to implement a little bit more. We've seen a few nice moments here from Abdu as well, defensively and keeping possession. Have to stay patient, but it's difficult when you're chasing the game and you're down. You want to push forward, and sometimes that leaves more space in behind.
Haruki was around the box, lost possession.
Well done. Sebas, get ready. Miles, get ready.
One touch passing. Trying to get it back to Cottle. Well done by Mateus to leak back. That was better, though, from Houston. They'll have another throw on the opposite side.
Yeah, much better. Just keeping possession, making the simple pass and move. The idea is to draw Palmeiras in and then open up space in behind. It doesn't quite come off to Cottle on that final ball, but they're able to win it back.
Foul on Palmeiras, like a free kick. Warning given over there for the delay, taking the ball away. Chipped in here for Houston, handled in net by Sa. It was hopeful at best for the Dynamo side. Cottle whistled for the foul. Houston coaching staff didn't like the call. The referee came in and said, "You were pulling the jersey there. I've got to blow the whistle."
That's the benefit of being so close, right on the side of the pitch. You could almost feel the tackle coming in, but it's been a better passage since the goal. The response from Houston has been good. I've been impressed by the way that they've upped the tempo a little bit defensively. You can see the energy still there, and sometimes it takes conceding to wake you up a little bit. There were points in the first half where it seems a little bit too passive for my liking, and it's been better energy, and you can see the quality starting to come out.
Toronto and Portland scoreless on the other field right now. But again, this more so about playing for pride, feeling good about heading into the later games of this tournament. A little bit too far behind points-wise to make themselves part of the conversation for first or second. Go back to last year, 2024 GA Cup. Houston's U17s advanced to the round of 16. Group stage wins over Colorado and New England. Fell to a South Korean squad in the knockout round. Or excuse me, San Jose in a 3-0 loss. U15s had a 14-round penalty shootout in one of the games last year.
I've been impressed with the Dynamo Academy so far, and just the importance of it. There's so much talent in that area, living in Houston, just being around the game there. And I was there for the early moments of the academy, but it's still starting to take shape. Now we've seen Brooklyn Rain, some good players coming out of it.
Here's Lira, already scored today. And that was struck wrong in the end. Goal kick here for Houston. When you think about your time in the Dynamo organization, is that goal in the finals, is that the most indelible moment in your reflection in your time there? Is there something else, other moments that come to mind? I have to imagine that's up there.
Yeah, I mean, because the timing of it in the first half, and I was just desperate to see that one hold up, and that was part of what I enjoyed most about playing for Houston. That was the expectation, was for us to challenge for cups. They'd done it already, set that standard, and just wanted to be a part of that.
Romildo laying it off. Dangerous moment. Initially sent away, still laid off. Critical intervention. Romani ensured another shot would not be taken in that moment.
But again, it's another really good save there from Karimov, who's really impressed me today with his agility. I mentioned his size, but his ability to get down low quickly, it's been impressive. It gets slipped in here, a really nice little ball, but he's quick to come off his line, to stay big, to stretch that left leg out. Really good technique there.
Another corner here for Sao Paulo side. In swinger into the hands of Karimov. You know that one goal by Lira was able to fizz past him. Despite that goal, I think Karimov has showed plenty of skill in net here today. It's been an admirable effort under constant pressure. Foul here on Palmeiras. Cottle needing some time to regather himself.
It's a really good build out here from Houston, and continue to use the wide areas. This is a clever little touch here from Hinojosa. Thought he was going to go backwards and ends up going behind the legs. Looked for the 1-2 to combine there with Cottle, and gets taken down in the end. But yeah, Houston again going quick.
Abdu, it's a throw. 20 minutes remain here. Final game of group stage play. Zita's been held in check. Top prospect in Houston. Made his MLS Next Pro debut, 14 years, 5 months, and 13 days. Years of age. Houston, they embrace having younger players play in older age groups, whether it's MLS Next or Next Pro. Looking to earn something off the corner. First to head it. That was a good chance. It went straight into the arms of Saab. They'll take moments like that, though, off the set piece. Saboya threaded into the middle, and the flag up again.
Houston have consistently held a good line. Haven't had a ton of pressure on the ball in those areas, so you have to get it right. Connectiveness amongst that back four has been really good.
Intervened again, this time by Bolaños. It's a puzzle Houston has been unable to crack. They're having difficult times in the midfield. This Brazilian side does press a bit of physicality to the equation. I don't think that was what they were intending on that pass. It went straight into his teammate's boot as he kept running. It worked out well for Marcos. Belted out of play. Feels like it's going to take a level of creativity from Houston we haven't seen yet today, or good fortune on a set piece to break through here against Palmeiras. That corner kick. That may have been the best chance today since the first couple minutes when they had back-to-back shots.
Yeah, I do think it's been better, though, in the second half through the run of play. Just the tempo has been there. After going down a goal, it started to feel a little bit more pressing. See here, good moment stepping forward from Ngema. Had a good opportunity to do that in the first half, and Houston going to have to commit more numbers forward as they try to get back in this match.
Nothing to lose here. Both these teams combined 1 point in the group play standings. Connell a little off target to Abdu. Now Abdu, oh, that's creative. Oh, this is better. And Zita laying it across, just a bit too far forward. Oh, almost the perfect passage of play. This is better, you did just say.
Yeah, we've seen more of this interior combination play, and how about this little back heel here from Abdu? Really nice. Ultimately comes over to Nzita, and you can see Hinojosa wanted that one back, but overall I think a positive step forward as far as having that creativity, as you mentioned, some ingenuity through the midfield in that combination play. We need to see more of that.
So we need more creativity, and they grant that request.
Have this back heel
and a combination.
Actually.
Says we want creativity.
It's the second back heel actually from Abdu today.
I like his game.
It's been strong.
Javier Caro has entered the match for Houston. 6'1" attacking midfielder. Been a pivotal figure since joining the academy, U13 level in 2020. He comes in for Ngema.
It's a vicious ball there. Try to take that off the bounce. He's looking for the big switch on the other side of it, but that's the dance that Houston are going to have to do right now, down a goal, and have to defend evenly in those moments in transition.
Abdu now. Houston right back playing forward. Hinojosa. Cottle. Cottle taking off the ball and simply cleared away. Cottle frustrated. Reassurance from his coaching staff to say next one, next play. Cottle forward on the far side. Palmeiras readying a couple of subs as well. Pedro set to enter. And Murillo Dorado as well. So Pedro and Dorado have entered. First two substitutes for Palmeiras today. Dorado comes in for Haruki, who had himself a nice match. Haruki, actually from Japan. Just about 10 minutes remain here at IMG Academy. Houston have been asking more questions in the last 5 to 10 minutes. Feels like it might take a clinical finish. Big combo build-up. Palmeiras has been vulnerable at times. Defense has not proven to be perfect. They have been difficult to break down. They do commit the foul there. Quick restart by Houston. Cottle again working on the right side. quickly cuts inward. Taking off the ball. Going to play it through off balance. The foul was committed. And a yellow card will be issued. That'll go to Nzita. Third substitute from Houston here. Jorge Estrada will enter. Tristan Cottle to the bench.
And you could just see it just a little labored here from Cottle, and took a number of knocks here right on the flank. It's a nice little combination play. Didn't quite come off in the end, but willing runner absolutely, and been a good performance.
Estrada, a product of both Houstonians FC and Houston's youth setup since the U11 level. Has represented both the U.S. and Mexico at the youth level. Very capable substitute here up front for the Dynamo. Not going to have a lot of time to work with. Just a little over 8 minutes left. Palmeiras trying to put this one away. And be goal kick for Houston. Do you like the way Palmeiras have approached this game since taking the lead? What have you seen out of the side? Has anything changed?
Yeah, I like the way they've approached it. I think they could even be even a bit more aggressive. They've decided to maybe hit a little bit more on the counter, has been their primary option, as opposed to what we saw maybe more in the first half, which is possession. That's down to game states. That's bound to happen, but there's a couple different ways to close out a game, and for me, maybe it's just being a former attacker. I prefer to go for the second.
Absolutely.
Just to sit back and defend a little bit more. We've seen Houston get a little bit better. A big opportunity here.
Nzita, well, that was off. The flag went up immediately.
It came off the defender, though.
That was Miles Gartner, I beg your pardon. Unlucky for Houston. There's a real chance for Gardner, who did rip it wide, but he had heard the flag right before, heard the whistle right before that. Karamov trying to fire up his teammates a few yards in front of him. Some encouragement down the stretch here. Karamov's done everything he could today. Had no chance on the driving shot by earlier today. Lira, excuse me. Good combination passing, but again missed times. Dorado began his run too early. He's been a goal scorer, particularly with the U17s in 2024, as Dorado had 18 goals and 27 appearances for them last year. That's earned him time with the U20s as well. It's been a rapid progression through the Palmeiras ranks for Dorado. He was looking for a goal-scoring chance here. Just a little bit early. Pedro. That'll fizzle to Karamov. Oh, miss hit on the clearance. That'll keep it with Marcos. Engel closed down on the distribution. That felt like a sequence they might pounce on in the first half. A little more conservative here, less urgency with the lead. Palmeiras had 8 shots in that first 30 minutes. Houston playing with some grit right now. Kian Walsh is going to come in.
Houston have all shifted. New front three, looking for some energy, pushing the game, going into the reserves and digging deep. There's still plenty of time left to try to create one chance and see if they can get back in this.
Zita's day has come to a close. Never able to really threaten this Palmeiras goalkeeper. Does not change the fact that he is one of the more highly regarded prospects in this Dynamo system. We'll look to make an impact the next couple of games. This is going to be a booking. Omar Flores, who came in right after the halftime break, that left back spot. Made his Dynamo Dos debut in March. Will go into the book. Less than 4 minutes until stoppage time. Day 3 here at the GA Cup. AJ Ricketts, former Houston Dynamo striker, Kalen Carr. Seeing right now if his old squad might have some moments of magic to finish off this match against Palmeiras. Jose Araujo moments away from subbing in.
Houston going to go direct here. Not a lot of time left. Having to take some risks, push some bodies forward in the attack.
Out of play for a Palmeiras throw. So red card given to Abdu for dissent. Less than 2 minutes left here before stoppage time begins. Desperate final moments here for this Texas side. They have faced a formidable foe in Palmeiras. Represented their home city well. Down the pitch, flag up again. The third or fourth offside. That'll be a card for time wasting. Houston bench imploring the officials to remember to add the time. Luis Sa doing a great job in goal today here for Palmeiras. On the moments he's been called into action. Calls Weverton his idol for many years. Of course, the starting keeper for the Palmeiras first team, role he's had since 2018. Helped guide the club to back-to-back Copa Libertadores championships. Gold medal of the 2016 Summer Olympics for Brazil as well. Indelible moment where he had a big penalty save. And it'll be a foul on Houston here.
These guys are like 25 years old, kicking us left and right. Come on, man. Jesus, why are they screaming for it? Throwing that? No. Why are they screaming? Jesus, man.
See how much stoppage time Houston may have to work with.
Yeah, we've seen a few times now Houston having to defend in these one-on-one areas as they've pushed numbers forward in the attack. Going to have to leave your defenders on an island, and seeing a yellow card awarded on the last one, and tough tackle here in the end.
Head coach for Palmeiras, Lucas Macarin, will have to be happy with what he's seen here today. Better performance from his side. You almost wonder how this squad has struggled so much in group play with the physicality and the grown men it looks like they have out there. Impressive group. Very easily could have been a more tilted scoreline, but Houston have had their moments as well. Nearly costly bit of miscommunication there. Left back and center back didn't start running for it, but nobody from Houston able to take advantage. Just over 90 seconds left now. Well, good advancement by Arona. Might this be Houston's final chance? Thread it to the near side. Played across dangerously. Not cleared yet. Houston still in business. Laced across again. Nothing doing, and now out on the run is Dorado. Will he go to the flag or try to take this towards goal? Dorado, well played ball, extra pass. Things are on here. Palmeiras looking to punctuate this. It's wide. Hope still alive in some capacity here for the Dynamo.
Yeah, but a really good run forward from Arana on the other side, and then it comes down in transition. Palmeiras maybe caught in between two minds to go to the corner, as you mentioned, or try to get that second. Just goes wide there.
Saboya with an excellent pass to Aruzo, just unable to convert. Precious seconds continuing to tick off. Houston did enter this match with 1 point off a shootout loss. Not looking like they'll have an answer here today. Good job again to get some space by Arona, but eventually too much traffic. Palmeiras getting one more substitute in. Derek De Silva. The final whistle doesn't blow first. Now they'll make the substitution.
I think this may add an extra minute here. There's been a few passages of play here in added time. I'm sure Houston will be looking for every second, trying to find one moment. There's been a few nice moments from Arana, as you mentioned, to be able to split, drive forward. Seeing him and Abdu coming from deeper positions, that's something they've been missing a little bit. You know, Hossa has had a couple of them, but the connection between the midfield and that front line, haven't been able to find it.
It's going to have to happen right now if it does for Houston. Every clearance may spell the end of the game. 4 minutes into stoppage time. 3 were signaled. Houston sideline yelling, quickly, quickly. Foul committed first. They'll have a free kick and probably send everybody forward for this final moment. Karamov all the way out at midfield. They're telling him to actually go into goal. Try to use his height. Jorge Estrada will trot back, and here we go.
I love this. Every match so far we've seen at the end, because of the results are needed, we've seen a lot of goalkeepers being sent forward for these dying moments.
21 players in the box. Here we go. Palmeiras first to it. Didn't bounce kindly for Houston, and the final whistle blows. Palmeiras picks up their first win of their GA Cup run, earning a 1-0 result against Houston. It was 0-0 at the half, but quickly into the second half, put one on the board. And Houston found this Palmeiras defense a difficult code to crack. 1-0, your final score here at the GA Cup. Let's take a look at that goal. It warrants our Adidas man of the match. Goan Lira, off an excellent sequence of build-up, got this pass and was ready for his moment.
Yeah, really good run there from Marcos to open up space on this left flank. Got isolated with Gemma, was able to use his pace and then the unselfishness to find the far post, and what a finish.
Houston a bit despondent with how these last couple of games have gone. Much ahead to play for. We'll put the jerseys on once again here. A couple more times over the course of this week, have a chance to represent their club, their organization, their city. Palmeiras will take the outright win here today. Remember, MLS Next Pro action taking place tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern, Inter Miami and Orlando City. We're in the Sunshine State, and we get a Florida derby here, almost midway through the action here at the Generation Adidas Cup. And on Wednesday, the action continues in the U16s. Domestic matchup between Nashville and LA Galaxy. Following that at noon, Portland Timbers take on KRC Genk. All those matchups can be seen right here where you're watching on the MLS YouTube channel. So a fun week ahead here at the Generation Adidas Cup between Next Pro, the U16s, and the U18s, where the emotion is ever present. Players from around the country, players from around the world looking to show that they may be next. Right here, Palmeiras and Houston Dynamo, an entertaining affair in 60 minutes. 1-0 to the side from Brazil off the goal in the 32nd. Big thanks to our entire production crew today, my partner Kalen Carr. I'm AJ Ricketts. Back after this. The 2025 Generation Adidas Cup may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer and Player Development, LLC.